Me? For real? Oh. You can call from the Bahamas using Rev Boy's prepaid home phone service and prepaid chat cards for much less.
Hey girl, are you ready?
You get free unlimited on-island calls, voicemail, and no internet service or ID is required.
Hello?
Rev Boy's prepaid home phone service and prepaid chat cards.
Hey, vai bien.
Staying in touch never sounded so good.
Good evening, Bahamas, and thanks for joining us at NB12. Coming up tonight in news, the Christian Council changes its tune on the issue of marital rape. This after the Attorney General revealed government is once again considering criminalizing the act. Government seeks to restructure salary scales for public entities as it narrows the search for a new National Insurance Board director. First flooded streets, now Pinewood Gardens residents have a park covered in trash. And insight into gang violence in the Bahamas. We have those stories and much more coming up tonight. I'm Christina McNeil, and your NB12 starts right now. Thanks for joining us. In a stark turnaround from its previous position, the Bahamas Christian Council today came out in support of criminalizing marital rape. This after Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson recently said the government is considering tackling the contentious issue 4 years after the former administration faced a firestorm of criticism, trying to push the measure through. Royston Jones reports.
Reverend Dr. Ranford Patterson said while the government should provide an exact legal definition of marital rape, the Christian Council would support any legislation that seeks to protect the stability of the family unit.
We had a chance to speak with the Attorney General in reference to this, and I think it's honestly going in the right direction. If a relationship is healthy, there's no way rape will be considered in that relationship. If the relationship is strained, if the relationship is over, then I strongly believe that rape can occur. If there is, for example, if for example one of the spouses is outside of the marriage doing stuff that can cause irreparable damage to the relationship, I don't see why that should not be criminalized.
However, that's the exact opposite position that the council took 4 years ago, when the then Ingram administration tabled the marital rape bill in the House of Assembly. At that time, when Patrick Paul was the council's president, he staunchly opposed the measure, calling the bill tragically wrong and saying that the covenant of marriage gives a husband and wife open-ended sexual consent. Currently, if a couple is married and there has been no separation, no rape can occur under Bahamian law. Today, Patterson said while not all quarters of the religious community will agree with the council's new position, he encouraged the Bahamian people to support criminalizing marital rape.
The Attorney General and the government need to spell out for us what is marital rape. Are we talking about the wife or the husband coming home one day and just deciding that they don't want to have a sexual relationship? Is that what we're talking about? Or is it we're talking about a relationship, like I said, where there is separation, where perhaps we are not in the same house, but we are still legally married, that I can come in the house at any time and do as I please.
Patterson said the Attorney General recently met with a cross-section of religious leaders representing a variety of denominations.
Cross-section of heads of churches who sat with the Attorney General when this issue came up. And so I believe that there is perhaps a general consensus that we support this bill going forward.
Patterson said the Christian Council has come to have an appreciation for the pressures that exist from the global community with regards to this issue. He noted that the church must be prepared to compromise on some issues and be more involved.
To be prepared. We have to prepare our people to not think Bahama-centric, but to think globally. And I don't think we've done a good job of doing that. We are part of the global village, and if we're going to be a part of the global village, there are some things that we have to do. Now, there are some things that we cannot compromise on, but there are some things that I believe that we have no choice.
Outside Cabinet this morning, Social Services Minister Melanie Griffin told our news team that the Progressive Liberal Party did not give the Ingram administration any pushback when the bill was proposed, and the Free National Movement abandoned the legislation and let it die in Parliament. However, Maynard Gibson essentially led the charge for dropping the bill on behalf of the opposition after the bill caused an uproar. Griffin said the bill is now only a consideration, and there is no date as to when a bill would be brought to Parliament by the Christie administration. Patterson also recommended that the government conduct an in-depth study about domestic violence, including rape in marriages. For NB12, I'm Royston Jones.
While the exorbitant salaries received by some senior administrators in public agencies have come under much public scrutiny in recent months, now Minister of Labor and National Insurance Shane Gibson says the government is seeking to restructure how salaries are awarded in public entities to more accurately reflect profits made. Celeste Nixon has the details in this report.
Gibson explained that public corporations do not generate enough revenue to justify some of the executive salaries currently being paid out.
I believe that when you look at the salary structure at most of the government corporations, particularly due to the fact that most of them are not making monies the way they did in the past, it is difficult to justify those high salaries. And then when you look at national insurance, personally I believe that it got out of hand when you look at it being a social security system. I think the downside to what happened in the past is persons went into national insurance trying to treat it as a private entity, making hundreds of millions of dollars. We can't treat national insurance and public corporations in that manner.
The minister said the whole salary structure of public corporations should be reviewed.
We really have to review the entire salary structure and see whether or not it's relevant compared to the monies that the corporation is or losing at this time. And so the same thing at national insurance, water and sewage. I'm not sure what's happening at Broadcasting Corporation, but certainly when you look at water and sewage, BEC, and national insurance, I believe all of the executives would make, if not $100,000 a year, it wouldn't be far from that.
Moving forward, Gibson said he has already requested public service assessments to be carried out and will seek to have similar evaluations completed in public corporations. Gibson said the goal is to keep the money required to run the various corporations at a minimum. However, he doesn't know exactly how this can be facilitated or how salaries will be restructured, but it may include salary freezes or requiring cabinet approval for salary increases.
So I'm trying to get my colleagues to agree to be extended to the public corporations as well, where we could approve a structure, and for any corporation to move away from that structure, we are trying to get them to require ministerial or cabinet approval. I'm not sure whether it's going to be through recommending salary freezes, restructuring, because it's difficult to unilaterally change a person's terms and conditions of employment. And so the idea really is to see if you can have an agreement to do it. If not, as we move people in, move people out, then we'll have to restructure it and put in a structure in place that would require ministerial approval once you deviate away from it.
With regard to NIB, Gibson said the board has made its recommendation for a new director, and Cabinet should make a decision shortly. Former NIB director Algernon Cargill was fired after a government-ordered forensic investigation revealed that bonuses may have been improperly paid to him and other NIB executives. Reporting for NB12, I'm Celeste Nixon.
And it's been 3 weeks since torrential rain caused widespread flooding on the eastern side of the island, resulting in excessive damage for residents affected. Well, while residents of Pinewood Gardens were given the help they needed with large dumpsters to discard trash and damaged furniture, they say the piled-up garbage has been festering under the hot summer sun, causing vector issues and a reeking odor in the area. Paige McCartney scoped things out today and filed this report.
These residents have taken it upon themselves to clean up the rubbish from this smelly area that they say has become an eyesore to residents. They say the once friendly, clean and inviting community park here in Pinewood is now infested with rats and insects. They even found a bag full of feces.
Residents said it's a disgusting sight. Just across the street from homes, flies swarmed over hordes of piled up, leaking garbage, which has quickly become a breeding ground for rodents. The stench of sun-baked garbage mixed with the scent emanating from a large black garbage bag filled with feces blanketed the air around Breadfruit Street in Pinewood Gardens today. MB12 met LeBon Ferguson Jr. sifting through the rubbish, clearing some of it from the street and putting it in bags. He said Pinewood residents appreciated when the Member of Parliament, Kaylis Roll, personally paid for private dumpsters from United Sanitation for them to throw out their trash after the storm. But now, weeks later, some residents have abused the gesture, causing the dumpster to overflow and become an unhygienic eyesore.
Our MP gave garbage. We had that bar where our MP gave us garbage, to throw everything in the garbage. And people take use of the garbage. He put 3 bins here, what he personally paid for. And instead they throw it in the garbage, they throw it on the side of the road. And it's very nasty to the neighborhood. There are business and rat.
When MB12 contacted Roll this afternoon, he said he was aware of the issue and was addressing it. He said he was saddened that some residents were indiscriminately dumping their trash. The resident said the situation makes it difficult for residents to enjoy the community park.
It used to be nice out here, man, but since all type garbage and things up in the park stinking, we living right around there, yeah. We taking all the things, you see. Just had to really do all this morning. We just really finished all this up this morning, you see. We try to tell them we need more garbage bins and things to put the rest of the garbage in, but you know what, look like they really getting it together.
It smells bad. And a lot of rodent, rat, and mosquitoes. And this area this ain't that type area for it.
There were other waste management companies that also had their dumpsters at the park, but they have already been removed. Ferguson doesn't know why it's taking so long for this last container to be taken away.
Farmer Space, they bring garbage here, but by people keep the garbage nasty, they get bins in and return it.
So you say in one of the bags over there has
Feces. Yes.
And so how did you went to try, because you're cleaning up the area, you're helping the neighborhood.
This morning.
Yeah.
And by we discovered we have to leave that.
Oh, wow.
We could do the rest as much as we could, and we have to leave that. We're waiting for them to come empty their bin right now.
Andrew Pinder, another resident who helped to clean and organize the area today, said he's surprised that there are Pinewood Gardens residents who would continue to carelessly dump their trash and add to the problem.
I live in the community, that's how I feel. You see they saying, eh? We all us sit down, live as one and clean up after people mess. But understand me, it ain't make no sense clean up after someone if they ain't want to clean up after themselves. Most of these people doing this by judge their use.
Roll promised that the dumpster would be removed by this evening. For MB12, I'm Paige McCartney.